Okay, we're back doing another video about things. I don't know, just to get it out there. Let's keep going down the same setup where we talk about two different kind of topics or questions. And the
Yeah.
first one is I get this phone call all the time from my family. I love
Sure.
them. That'll be like, is that a keto food? I'm like, what is a keto food? Do you get that?
Right.
Do you get that?
I do. Well, they're so proud. They're like, "Oh, this is keto. It's keto bread. It's keto
Uh-huh.
ice cream.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
that
don't
too.
worry about it. It's keto tortillas." I'm like, "You're missing the whole point here." Okay?
Yeah.
It's not about, yeah. So, yes, I do. And it,
I mean, I could take a bite of something and it will be keto because it doesn't change the chemistry in my body. So there's no
yeah.
such, I mean, people don't get keto is not a food, it is a chemistry. And so I always laugh when people ask if it's a keto food. And I'm like, there's things like keto brick, which I do actually like, and it's a brick that this guy made, and it has a lot of them. They're switching to tallow. It used to have stearic acid, which is a favorite fat of mine, having with my master's program and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
But it
Okay.
will have protein, like beef protein isolate in it. I think he has some that have pea protein. I don't like as much, but the ratio is high fat, moderate protein, low carb.
Okay. Okay.
And that chemistry will set
Okay.
up in the person, hopefully, to keep the insulin low so that the body can burn fat and make ketones. I
So,
mean, yeah, but is that
there
a
you go.
keto food? Yeah,
Like you
simple.
just said, so your body can make ketones. You're not eating a keto food. You're not eating ketones.
You
You
can.
want
There are exogenous ketones that you can take. There are ketone esters,
right.
ketone salts, and those I would think are more appropriately, or I do think are more appropriate for more therapeutic levels if you need to get those ketones up.
Sure.
Because you're going through chemo or something, you want to do
Yeah.
everything you can around that. You have autoimmune disease, you have a mental health issue, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
weight loss may not require a high ketone, so it depends on what your goal is, but there are ketones you can take.
Well, that's a good point. It depends on what your goals are.
Yeah.
And, you know, but you got to be careful with that too, because people, get into the whole, well, my body works this way, or, that may work for you. I need to do this. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. All of our bodies are built the same. We may have done different things to them, but at the end of the day, we should all be working the same way. So, um, yeah, it's just insane the lack of information. And I was there, I mean, I'm still learning. Thank God I have you for that. It's
Well,
just
you and I are even different. I could literally eat everything you do, and my ketones will not get to your level.
I
I have to moderate my protein a little bit. And I love protein. I love to eat it, but I have to be my blood sugar, it doesn't necessarily go up. I just stop making ketones so easily when I have protein.
I
So
wonder why that is.
I don't know. I think it's related to cortisol. I think everyone process from a neurological standpoint, everyone has different patterns that they've grown up, plasticity. And I think that I am very efficient at converting my protein to glucose.
Okay.
So I've tried different tricks that help a little bit on which macronutrient I will eat first and seeing if that helps tell my body, hey, we're good, we're good. We don't have to turn all that into sugar right away.
Yeah.
And it's not like you've had an easy life. None of us have had an easy life. We've had things. So,
No.
why some people's neurological patterns go one way versus the other, I don't have that answer. And I
Well, I
deal with
found out.
brains all day long. That's what I treat, our
Yeah.
brains.
Well, that's why I met you. I mean, you helped me. But God, what was I going to say? You mentioned something about you told me this a long time ago, and I thought it was fascinating. You're like some people can just look at a dessert or food, and the body will start preparing
Yeah.
the the rise and fall of, I guess,
It starts to make insulin. It's like, hey, we got food coming in. So some people, if you have a food addiction, if you literally like, oh my gosh, you get, for
yeah.
lack of a better word, orgasmic about it, you are literally turning things on. It's similar to a paper on my other channel for my brain center.
Uh,
I did a review on a paper that talked about immune responses that your body kicks out, like into your bloodstream, immune
sure.
responses by
Uh-huh.
seeing someone who is sick. And they did this with a virtual reality thing. So these people
Wow.
had these goggles and they looked at different people and they compared it to someone. basically they looked at these VR things and they were neutral, sick, or I think it was fear or anger. I keep switching those two. Regardless, they
Okay.
had similar micro faces, right, to what's going on. And the group that saw the sick person that was just a little further away had an immune response because it goes up to the thalamus, kicks out immune response that was similar to someone who had a flu vaccine. So the immune
Wow.
response was the same, whether you just saw the person or you actually had the vaccine.
So
So
is that, go ahead.
So the conclusion for that for me is you got to have a strong mind. I go around sick people. When my family gets sick, I'm around them. I don't get sick. And I think it's because
Yeah.
I don't want to get sick. The other thing
Yeah.
is what made me make that video is because my mom was on the phone with my aunt. They don't even live in the same state. She was down here for Christmas. My aunt was sick on the other line. 20 minutes on the phone. My mom was sick when she got off the phone. And I was like, none of
You're
us are sick.
kidding.
So I was like, there has to be some sort of neurological patterning where you hear it because I get irritated when I hear myself sick or I hear somebody else sick. I know in my head I have to go, I'm not sick, I'm not sick. Because the body just kind of has these patterns to it. And I don't, I don't have a paper to prove the hearing part, but there was a visual one. And I'm like, well, they're both senses, so it's possible that maybe they have overlap. Anywho,
So
the
do,
point is you don't have to eat the food to have insulin spike.
right. Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you. So you mentioned mirror neurons at some point with me. Do you think that plays in a role with it as far as
My
like what you
neurons
see? Like visually the brain connecting, what you're
could,
seeing and
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
because you can have sweet on your tongue and it's going to spike your insulin too. There are neurological pathways for us to
Wow.
sense kind of, what's going on.
So like the people who have the gum or the little, mints or something like that that have, a lot amount of
Could
sugar in it
be.
and they're,
Could be,
yeah.
yeah. I would say, hey, measure it. It'd be hard because you can't, insulin is not an easy thing to measure. You have to get a
Okay.
bigger blood draw. Unlike doing ketones and blood sugar with your finger, the ratio
Mhm.
of those are what give us an idea of what maybe insulin is doing in your body. So I doubt anyone's run a test on Tic Tacs or
Yeah.
Altoids and how they affect your insulin, but I'm not sure that would be in the budget for research, but
Not yet. They're getting
who
rid of a
knows?
lot of stuff these days. I'm really excited about it. The
Yeah.
flip has happened and I'm so excited.
Yeah. So to summarize, keto food, nothing is a keto
Yeah.
food. It's what is the food that you are talking about? How is that going to have the chemistry in your body to keep your insulin down so that you can tap into your own fat stores to make ketones? Or if you need more ketones, is that food going to help you to make more ketones because it's an exogenous ketone or it's an MCT oil that helps you make more ketones? Those are the only ways in which I'd say something is a keto food. But keto breads, tortillas, I'm like,
Yeah, I think they're just marketing low carbohydrates, which is
yeah.
what people understand or equate to keto is that the carbohydrates are really, really low.
So
But
yes, based on the amount of whatever it is that you're eating, you could call it keto. Now, if I had just an apple, a bite of an apple, there's nothing in there but carbs. I'm definitely going to have an insulin spike, and that's not what I do. So I'd say it's not a keto food, but if
yeah,
I had a bite of an apple after maybe having a steak or eggs or
yeah,
something before to
yeah.
change that transit through the digestive tract, then maybe that chemistry, I could have a bite of that apple and it would still be considered keto. But keto is not a food, it is a chemistry.
Well, thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome. You're welcome
Yeah.
because you keep asking. No, I'm just kidding.
No, that was pretty good because I start doing that too, even with the little sweets that I have, which is my drink. I'll make sure that I have as much meat and fat as I possibly
Yeah.
can to slow down whatever insulin spike is going to
Yep.
happen, right? I mean, your insulin's going to spike a little bit because you're eating, right? Because you said everything transfers over to glucose as
Yes.
well. But
Yeah, and we go into the science of it because you have to really retrain your knowledge to understand the chemistry in order for you to stick with it. My whole goal of
Mhm.
the class is to say, how is that food that I have in front of me or that I'm choosing to eat, how is it going to affect my chemistry? Because this cascade is going to create a big cascade to all the other things in my life.
Oh
But
yeah,
what about when I'm eating that food? All of those things matter.
the timing you're meaning, right? The time
Yeah.
of
Yep.
day, right?
Time of
Yeah.
day, light. what you've eaten for the day. There's so many things to it, and everybody is individual in regards to how they are going to respond. Not that
Yeah.
different, but it can be different enough if weight loss is a thing or healing and autoimmune is a thing. I would say the autoimmune is a harder part to
Yeah.
address when it comes to ketones. Yeah, so
Why do you think that is? Why would you say
because
that?
you need higher ketones.
Okay. Got it.
So it's harder, it takes a little more effort, a little more diligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, just a quick ask here. If you were enjoying any of this content, we would love a like, a subscribe, a comment. We just want to get this information out to the masses, and that's it. Back to the conversation. So, anywho, the other topic, totally different, but still in the same realm, was when people, and I have patients and I find it to be more women than men, want to do the easy route and do surgery
Oh, yeah.
instead of, kind of changing your life to lose weight or whatever that may be.
Yeah, because people don't understand that what you're cutting off is something you actually need.
Yeah.
That fat is that source. I didn't understand. I mean, I lost, significant amount of weight, and there's still areas of my body that I'm not happy with. And I thought, oh, just snip it off, even
And
women
that's,
before.
and this is more in regards to liposuction versus like um, a sleeve or something like that. Because you will have to change your diet. Sleeves, I think, are probably more, if I had to choose in the realm of to help somebody, I'd probably say get a sleeve because you do
Yeah.
have to change the way you eat. And you will eventually get into ketosis because you can't eat much unless you're eating just pure carbs, and you won't be. Um,
Oh, I see what you're
but
saying. Okay.
liposuction in particular is what we are talking about,
Yeah.
and preserving those fat cells. I mean, you don't necessarily want them to grow, but they are there should you have more of a feasting time, and you need to store some of that fat so that when the fasting time comes around, you have energy to tap into.
So once someone liposuctions out fat cells, their body doesn't replicate them anymore, or they just the ones that
Not,
are there.
yeah. My understanding is not so much. Maybe it does a little bit, but as we aged, we don't really make more fat cells. We fill them up. They kind of get bigger and smaller. There are certain concepts that Asian genetics in particular,
Yeah.
they can't put on more fat cells. They fill theirs up. That's why a lot of them get diabetes and they look thin. You're looking at them going, how do you have diabetes? And so I caution when people are talking about how all the Asian cultures have thin people. I'm like, yeah, because they can't get fat.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that they're healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That's a good point. That's a very good point because a lot of people equate someone looking thin to
mm,
healthy,
yeah, and they
you
can
know?
very much have diabetes at thin. So yeah,
Yeah.
preserving those fat cells, learning to work with them, learning
Okay.
how to empty, how to fill, what fills them. Maybe you don't want to fill them. So
Yeah. Well,
I get nervous because then what's going to happen if you don't have these fat cells, which is the last reservoir for that sugar to go into or the carbs to
sure.
go into,
Sure.
because you've already put it into the muscles, you've already used it in your brain, wherever you need. The fat is the last storage spot. And when that storage spot is no longer working and it's not responding to insulin, then you're going to get into the area of PCOS or type 2 diabetes or dementia, Alzheimer's. There's a
Wow.
lot of possibilities to what the concept of insulin resistance can do to someone. So save your
So
fat cells is what I say. Save
yeah.
them,
Yeah.
just squeeze them,
Okay.
squish them out.
Use them, right? I mean, they're the
Yeah,
cleanest burning fuel in the
yeah,
body. That's
it
that's what
is.
it's for.
Yeah. When I go in a sauna, I don't really worry about the sweat. I'm like, well, it's clean. It's clean water. It's the cleanest water I can make.
So help me wrap my head around this. So we've talked about eating fat, and people are like, fat doesn't make you fat, right? That's what we say. So if you're eating fat and your body isn't going to use it, it eliminates it, right? So the fat that's on our body that's been collected, is that from carbohydrates? Is
No,
that
you can still get fat from fat. There's still a limit to how much food you can eat.
okay?
If you eat a lot, you're going to stimulate insulin, and insulin is really that hormone that's going to create you to lock down the fat stores and to save everything.
Got
But yeah,
it.
you don't just poop out all that fat. Some,
Okay.
some, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for clearing
We'll
that
have
for
to
me.
talk later about digestion and fat in regards to like constipation, diarrhea, that type of thing.
Yeah, because a lot of people bring up fiber when we talk about
Fiber.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do a whole video just, kind of about that. So,
Okay.
anyhow, that's all I have for
Well,
today. Those were the kind of the two topics to talk about.
I love
Um,
it. Good topics.
we have our class, so people go through an 8-week program, hand-holding program. They get to learn different basics over the weeks. And then we also have meetings every week with that
Community.
class so that we can look at our blood sugar and our ketones and kind of see how people are doing, share stories. Because again, you and I are perfect for this because we respond differently to the
Yeah,
same food. So we have to change those macros a little bit and timing and, different ways.
absolutely.
Just how we handle stress in life may be different. We have to discover that, and you do that. It's great in a sharing comfortable environment. So
Yeah, community, the people who you surround yourself with, right?
yeah, yeah.
Exciting. Okay.
All right.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. See you on
All
the
right,
next.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay. Bye.
Goodbye.